Hello and welcome to this tutorial presented by oraclecoach.com. This is Claire Rajan, and in this video segment, I will cover the basic concepts behind creating and managing roles. A database is typically accessed by many users simultaneously. On this slide, the pool of users in a company have been grouped based on their job role. For example, there is a group of users who administer the database called the administrators. There is a group of users who are the analysts and another group of users who are the programmers. Depending on a user's job role, the user would need a set of privileges to perform their responsibilities. On this slide, a generalization of the privileges has been shown. The administrators need the privileges marked as privilege 7, 8, and 12. The analysts need the privileges marked as 3, 4, 5, and 6. The programmers need the privileges 2, 3, 4, and 5. On this slide, you are looking at a new member joining the team of programmers. This new member, called Sid, needs the privileges 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like all the other programmers. Someone who has administrative privileges would assign these privileges to the new user. Suppose this is something that happens frequently. New users join the team and the administrator has to assign the new user the necessary privileges. To simplify privilege management, an administrator has the option of creating an object called a role. A role is a logical collection of privileges. A role has a name. On the slide, you are looking at a new type of object called a role, and the privileges being given to the role. The role in turn is then being assigned to users. All the privileges contained in the role will automatically be given to the user who is given the role. Privilege management can be greatly simplified by this process because if all the programmers need a new privilege, all you would have to do is to grant the privilege to the role. In the same way, if you need to revoke a privilege from the programmers, all you would need to do is to revoke it from the role. The syntax to create a role is shown on this slide. It is create role, role name. Optionally, you can mention the identified by password clause, which will associate a password with the role. On the slide, there are two examples. The first is create role prog role. Here, the role called prog role is being created. The second example is create role and role identified by pass1. The password associated with the role called anrole is pass1. A user must supply the password to activate a role when the role is enabled explicitly. Both these examples create an empty role. The role definition is created and stored in the data dictionary of the database. After creating the role, you will grant the privileges to the role using a grant command. It is similar to granting system privileges to users, and the syntax is grant privilege, comma, you can mention as many privileges as you want separated by commas. This is then followed by the keyword to and then the name of the role. In the example, which reads as grant create table, comma create session, comma unlimited table space, comma create view to prog role, four privileges, namely create table, create session, unlimited table space, and create view are being granted to the role called prog role. Here you are looking at how roles can be granted to users. The syntax is just like how it was when granting system privileges to users. It is grant role name, comma role name, comma, and you can mention as many role names as you want, separated by commas, followed by the keyword to, and then the names of one or more users who need the role. Once again, if you're mentioning more than one username, you will separate the username with a comma. In the example, the role called progrole is being granted to the user Sid using the command grant progrole to Sid. This slide has the names of three common predefined roles that exist in an Oracle database. They are the Connect, Resource, and DBA role. The Connect role has the Create Session System privilege in it in Oracle 11g. The Resource role contains a set of privileges that can be used by a user to create and manage different types of objects in a database. The DBA role is a role that contains system privileges that can be used to administer the database. Here you're looking at the command to drop a role. The syntax to drop a role is drop role role name. When you drop a role, its definition is dropped from the database, and all the users who had the role will no longer hold the privileges that were contained in the role. In the example, drop role progrole, the role called progrole is being dropped. In this tutorial, I explained some basic concepts associated with roles, how they can be created, what they contain, how they can be given to users, their benefits, and how they can be dropped from a database. I hope you find this tutorial useful. You can find other videos, tutorials, and articles on the Oracle Coach website. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.